Welcome to today's video. Today, we're going to be looking at how you can easily share and distribute custom developed chatbots. Now, if you haven't seen it, there's another video in this series in which we built a custom chatbot. We did it in 10 minutes with no code, called it our simple bot that was designed for a business user that didn't want to get into any details around the model. They wanted a nice, clean, simple UI. And then ultimately they wanted the business functionality of being able to start chatting with business documents and business sources. So that is our simple bot template. Now, when we created this, we did the entire thing locally on our Model HQ app. But the big question then is, once you create, as the developer, you've created it, you've iterated on it, you've perfected it, you've gotten it to the point now that you want to be able to share it with other users so that other users can deploy this bot on their AI PCs and run it locally. How do you do that? And so that's what we're going to cover in this video, and we're going to do it in two different ways. The first is going to be peer-to-peer, and then the second is going to be in conjunction with using the Model HQ server that gives you really powerful tools then to distribute this more widely across your enterprise. So let's dive in. We're going to look at our simple bot. And our simple bot, for those who haven't seen the video, or just to remind you, gone through in about 10 minutes and configured about 100 different options. We packaged a whole set of files. We packaged custom icons, custom UI. We set up very specific model parameters, control parameters, the RAG output parameters, as well as some of the functionality that we want in our bot. Now, once it's created, we're going to go to export. There are really two key things that we want to look at. The first is we could build it, and I'll show you that in just a sec. Before we build it, it is useful before publishing is that we want to provide some metadata. And the metadata is just to provide some type of description so that a user receiving your bot has your insights of what is this bot, how is it used for, what is it that I need to do, what are the instructions, and oftentimes these are going to be very contextual to your business and your domain. This is a demo. Put the author. And now that metadata has been added to our bot. Again, makes it easier before we start exporting and sharing it with others. So the first way that we can share this is as simple as we say build. And what build does is it actually extracts all the artifacts, all of the configuration data, as well as all the files that we wanted to package with our bot. Both the source materials, icons, any other files that are included. It all gets zipped together, and we can now download this file. And the beauty of it is that because there's no executable code, it's all pure configuration. We can now take that information. It's 50 megabytes because it's a whole bunch of large SEC files. We can go take that. You could post it in SharePoint. You could put it in a Google Drive. You could email it to someone. You could put it on a USB stick. It's really easy then the way that you would share, any way that you would share a PowerPoint file or a pivot table or a report is the exact same way that you can go share a bot. Just point to point, sharing it with another colleague. You could email this to them. They could pull this down on their system, and then they could go and begin to use this bot. Now let me quickly show you how that would work. So once you've emailed it over to a colleague or your target user, what they would actually do is they would come in, and what they would then do is to upload. And now they can upload the file that they received from you, and they can directly go and create that bot, and then the bot is installed locally on their machine. So it's that simple, again, as easy as passing a PowerPoint file around. But the more scalable way to do this is to do it through the Model HQ server. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to turn on our server. So in our configurations, we're going to show our connected enterprise server. And so we do have a Model HQ server that's been running. And now we've connected to it. And the first thing that you'll see is there's some additional functionality that's exposed. And in particular, when we come in and we look at the bots, we now have this Discover button. And the Discover button then gives us visibility into any bots that are available on that server. And if we see a bot that we want, we can then download it and install it, and in seconds have it running on our local machine. So this becomes the easiest way to share, push your bot up to the server, and then anybody in your enterprise or on your team, they can go to the server, they can discover it, and then they can install it on their local machine. So we open up our bot, we go into the edit environment, and we're going to go back to export. This time though, instead of build, which builds it locally, and then we have that artifact that we can go use directly. We've already added our metadata. Now what we're going to do is we have a new function, and publish is linked to that model HQ server. It's going to take those built bot artifacts and pull it up to our server. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to publish the bot. It might take a second because there are a bunch of files there, so it might take a second for it to upload and to install. All right, so our simple bot has been published on our API server, and now what we can do is we can actually discover it. Cool. So our simple bot is available on our API server. Now, because we're just using a one screen scenario here for this demo, what I'm actually going to do is I am going to delete our bot from the local system. So we no longer have it on this device. And then I'll actually show you the process of pulling it down from the server, reinstalling it, and then you can see that the process worked of both the upload and the download. Of course, in a normal situation, I would flip over and be another user, and that other user then would discover and then pull it down to their local system. So just some simplicity for the purpose of the demo. So we're going to go to our simple bot. We are going to delete our simple bot. Okay, so now when we look at our list of bots, simple bot is gone. And so we are going to go back to discover. This is showing us the bots that are available on the server, the bot that we just uploaded to it. And now we are going to go ahead and we're going to pull it down. And now it says that it's pulled it down and it's installed our simple bot successfully. And so now when we look at our bots, there is our simple bot. And just as we would expect, we can go ahead now and launch and be back in SimpleBot, a custom bot that we created in less than 10 minutes with no code. And the design behind SimpleBot is for a business user that doesn't want to get into a lot of technical detail, but simply wants a way to be able to start engaging with natural language, to start chatting with documents in a fact-based way. But just to remind you, what we packaged with our SimpleBot were a set of sources, and all of these are financial documents, annual reports, earnings releases, 10Ks, just to be illustrative of the kinds of information that you may want to package in a bot like this. And so we're just going to walk through so you can see how the bot works. First thing that we're going to do is we actually notice most of these documents are pretty clear. You know, all right, it's about Accenture, it's about Amazon, it's about IBM or Apple, EPAM, Salesforce, but this one actually isn't quite clear what company this is about. So let's actually start here. Without having to open up the document, we'll just ask what is the name of the company. And the first thing that you'll notice is there is a search activity that's linked into this. And because we configured the SimpleBot to show those search results, that is surfaced to the user. So before the user even sees the LLM response, the user can quickly look and say, all right, what information was gathered? What was the similarity or the relevance of that information that was extracted from this document? And how does it tie back to my question? So you get really nice source grounding then to make sure that the answer is fact-based. And if there is anything that looks unusual in that answer, you can always go back and check the source information. So we know that this is an earnings release. Now we know it's for Accenture. Let's ask for the financial highlights. And again, what's really useful is we have that source information and we have the page information. And so it becomes a very useful complement that we can dig in and make sure that we're getting the accurate information. We can also see exactly what the model is actually seeing transparently. So we know if the model is saying something that wasn't provided in the information that we passed to that model. All right, so we're generating our response here, and we're getting a good analysis of all of the key financial highlights from that earnings release. And in less than a minute, we're getting an analysis of 7 or 8 pages that are in that earnings release. Good overview of the quarter for Accenture in third quarter of fiscal 22. And again, we have all of the source information. Again, hopefully that gives you a sense. 2 very easy to use mechanisms. One, just peer-to-peer and point sharing a zip file directly, or second, then uploading it to Model HQ server and then making it discoverable so that other users on the system can go ahead and pull it down and in seconds install and start using your chatbot and then be part of their local kit that they can go run on their AI PC. All right, and then when the user is done, of course, they come back to their main screen, and that bot experience that they've just created becomes yet another experience that they have available within their own inventory. Hopefully this gives you a good sense of the life cycle then of both no-code building and customization of a bot, but then also how easy it is to go ahead and to share that bot with other users. And one thing I should mention just by way of closing is then once other users have that bot, they can then make their own modifications and changes to it, and then they could republish it, or they could keep their own, in effect, branched version of it to keep their own custom version of it running on their local system. So that whole life cycle of use, iterate, build is again something that we think is a really compelling pattern, especially when sharing these custom interactive bots. Thank you, everybody. Take care and have a wonderful day.